Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm actually going to be doing a review on the Samsung Galaxy camera number 2. And I'm going to be doing my review videos like this instead of doing it over a camera where you don't see my face. I'm just trying out new things on my channel. So here's the camera itself. Here's what the camera actually looks like, the Samsung Galaxy Camera 2. Now this is the latest Samsung Galaxy camera. They did make one before this, but this is the current model. Now, I'm really just doing this just because I recently got this camera a couple of months ago for $40, believe it or not. And this camera still goes for a pretty solid price of upwards to $299, $399. And yes, you can still get it at retailers like Best Buy and things like that. So it is currently still available on the market. It has a 21x zoom, so it does have an optical zoom, not digital. And if you don't know the difference between an optical zoom and a digital zoom is, the optical zoom is going to be better than a digital zoom. Basically what a digital zoom is, it's a zoom where it blows up the pixels, so the more you zoom in, the more pixelated it's going to be. So that's basically what every smartphone camera has. It has a digital zoom. But where the lens actually comes out and zooms out is an optical. And optical means it's actually zooming out, so it's not going to be pixelated when you zoom out with optical. So you always want to have an optical zoom over a digital zoom. The only downside is after you reach about 10x, you're going to need a tripod just because the lens, when it comes out, it gets unstable. But yeah, that's one thing this camera has. The nice thing about this camera is it's a combination camera slash tablet, because it is running full Android. But I would mostly say this is really a camera. Don't be expecting to use this as really you're not going to be really using this as a tablet of any sorts or some kind of cell phone. Now, one thing to note about this, if you've ever used the first one or seen the first one, it used to have a SIM card slot for your SIM card, so you could technically get like 4G on the camera and stuff like that. But this one has no SIM slot. They did remove it on the Samsung Galaxy Camera 2, so no more SIM slot on the bottom. And this camera is not running the latest and greatest Android operating system. It's only running Android, I think, 4.3 Jelly Bean. It is running Jelly Bean on board, but that's still not bad. And it's also running not the latest and greatest Wi-Fi connection. It's only running Wi-Fi N, so it is only running N. Also, this does take a micro SD card for storage. It has a built-in 8 gigabyte internal memory, but the memory is used by operating system. You're only going to get like 2 or 3 gigs, so I highly would recommend, if you're picking this up, you will need a micro SD card for this. Also, on the bottom, it does have a tripod port, so you can use this on a tripod. And looking at the design, it's mostly a plastic build, to be honest. But the main body, the white part, is mostly a fake leather or a faux leather material, as you can see on camera. This was when Samsung wasn't serious about building their stuff with a high-end material, so this is going to be faux leather on it. It also does have a flash on it right there that pops out with the little button. It's not automatic. You do have to pop it out. Now, the biggest thing you're probably wondering is how is battery life, how is picture quality, everything like that. Now, for the most part, I'm going to cut right to the chase. Is this Samsung Galaxy Camera 2 worth picking up? Again, I was fortunate enough to pick it up for exactly $40. But what I can say is it's pretty much a no-go on this camera. I would not really highly recommend buying this camera unless you found it under $100, or maybe at 100 it would be worth it, but really for the most part this camera is not worth it. Also, on the back, it does have a 4.3 inch touchscreen, so it does have a fairly big touchscreen on the back of the camera. Now, moving on to the picture quality and the battery life, I would honestly say, first off, in the battery department, the battery life on this camera is pretty much mediocre. It has a 2000 milliamp battery in this thing, which will last you a good 1 to 2 hours. But if you're going to be taking pictures and vlogging a lot on this camera, I wouldn't highly recommend it, just because in about 30 to 40 minutes you're already down to like 50 to 40% battery. It drains a lot of battery on this camera. I mean a lot of battery on this camera, so just take that into consideration. The battery is not going to be that strong on this camera as well. Also, I did forget to mention one nice thing about this camera is it does have NFC support. So if you have a high-end smartphone from the last couple of years, you will be able to use NFC technology. You can just tap it to your smartphone and the videos and pictures will go to your smartphone or tablet. But again, since this is running Android, you don't need to actually transfer them to your smartphone or tablet because most likely you're going to be uploading them through the camera itself. That's why it does have Android on deck on this camera. Now, the biggest thing you're wondering is picture quality or video quality. What I will say is, for the most part, this is pretty much just a cell phone's camera tapped onto an optical zoom. So you're not getting anything amazing with this camera. I did forget to mention this camera is 16 megapixels. So it is 16 megapixels, but for the most part, no. If you have a high-end smartphone from the last couple of years, then just stick with that. The picture quality and videos that come out of here are not amazing at all. I'm not going to lie. And another thing is, this does record at 1080p maximum with, of course, most cell phones now recording at upwards to 2K and 4K quality. So the biggest downfall I found with this camera is that it needs a lot of light before you can actually use it. That's why I haven't did a test video on my channel yet, just because you have to have a lot of light. Like the light I'm getting in this room right now is not even enough for this thing to produce. You need like a full blast of sun or like 5 or 6 big white lights around you. It's ridiculous. You need a lot of sunlight before you're able to actually get anything decent with this camera. Another thing with this camera is what I was talking about, how this camera is not going to be really good for a tablet or like some kind of communication device is, even though it has Android on deck, every time you turn on the camera, it automatically opens the lens and goes straight to the camera app. So you're going to be pretty much going straight to the camera app every time you boot up into this camera, into this device. So that's why you wouldn't want to use it as a tablet or like some kind of a media device, because it's going to boot into the camera app all the time and you will have to back out. And not only that, the battery is mediocre. So for the most part, it's mainly a camera first, a tablet slash media player secondly. Overall, this is a no-go. Not even unless you can get at 100 or less, I would really suggest this camera. And anyway, that's just my review on the Samsung Galaxy camera. Peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out.